Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. I'm in a lot of forums and I talk to a lot of people, and I'm finding out there's tons of people who still want to know how to brew beer, but they want to learn without buying a bunch of expensive equipment. So if you have some pots, pans, I would say spring water, although I'm going to use distilled water because I'm going to take it up a little bit. We're going to brew a Mutton's Bock. It's an extract, 100% extract. So all you need is water. Some corn sugar is recommended, super cheap. You could use regular sugar, corn sugar, still recommended. Bock Beer, it's a type of lager. Very nice, hints of caramel, Munich. I actually picked up a 1906 Reserve Especial, I believe you call it, but it's out of Agala, Spain, and it's a Bock. So you can see what a Bock beer looks like, a good Bock beer. And this brewery has been around, or at least they've been brewing beer since 1906. So maybe not as old as some of the German breweries that have hung in there, but that's quite impressive. Let's wipe away a little bit of this frost. So you can pretty much see through it. It's not a dark beer, but it's lots of caramel, very crisp, very clean, a malty beer. Just very balanced. Okay, really, really, really good. Okay, we're gonna kick it up a notch though. And you don't have to do this. I mean, you can buy any of the extracts from Mutton's, Cooper's, Morgan's if you're over in Australia, or whatever, is available. And a lot of them require nothing but pots, water, and of course you're gonna need some sort of a 5-gallon or 6-gallon fermenter. This says 5 or 6 gallons and 2.2 pounds of corn sugar. We're gonna put 2 pounds of corn sugar, a pound of malt extract, light malt extract, and we're gonna drop it down to 5 gallons. So what it'll do is it'll actually be a little more bitter, and it will kick up the alcohol percentage. And I wanna say it's gonna be up close to around 5.7, but I'll have to double check that. Otherwise it's sitting down around 4.7 if you're doing 6 gallons, because you're dispersing it. So this is it. And what I'm doing to kick it up a bit, Sam Adams makes a chocolate Bock, but they soak it with chocolate nibs. Some people say it's not really a Bock, but it's the guidelines. You can go outside the guidelines, make your own style, and maybe you'll say, hey, it's kind of like a Bock, but hey, that's fine. I like it. I think it's great. It comes out around Christmas time. It's usually part of a big 12 pack, so I have to buy a whole 12 pack just to get 3 of them, but they're awesome. So I'm adding 6 ounces of chocolate malt because I want to add a little chocolate to my Bock. And all we're going to do is soak it in hot water. That's it, for about 30 minutes, and do it for 150 degrees. That should be enough to get all the flavors out. And then we're going to use that water, kick it up to a boil, and boil our extract, our sugar, our malt extract, the dry. Add cold water, pitch the yeast, and we have a beer. And most of these containers, see if I can get it open. They are a small nightmare to get open. There we go. They come with instructions, a very hard to open lid, so it doesn't fall off, I guess, around town. And it comes with yeast. I'm probably gonna pitch my own yeast. I'm gonna try to use a lager yeast that allows for fermentation up around the 68 Fahrenheit. Mangrove Jacks has one, which I have, and then there's a 3470, which also does it. And Brewlosophy says you can do it at 70 degrees and it should still taste good. Okay, so I overshot my temperature a little bit. Not a big deal. Pour the hot water back in here. Give a little out. And room temperature water. Should drop that temperature back down pretty fast. It'll be right about 150. Stir it up a little bit, and we're sitting about 152. So once I drop this Molson bag, which just literally is a hop sock, probably 60 cents, 80 cents at your local brew shop. Kind of treat it like tea. Get it all nice and wet. That's it. And then what you want to do to kind of maintain temperature, find the lid. Excuse the banging. We have a lid. It may not be the original, but it'll keep the heat in. And we're just gonna let it sit there. some people say 20 minutes, some people say 40 minutes when you're just doing an adjunct. An adjunct being an additive or a malt that you're just trying to get some flavor out of. So, like I said, I'll meet you somewhere in the middle. We'll do 30 minutes. What else do you need to brew the beer? A cheap but accurate thermometer. Always compare your thermometers because you'll find certain ones will all read one thing and there'll be one oddball out there you don't want to use. Spoon to stir. And then of course, like I said, a container, like preferably 6-gallon, just like you buy when you buy the water at the grocery store in the big giant bottle. That type of container, although they are PET certified, I would probably buy one from a brew shop. That way you know you're getting something that it can ferment in without an issue. They'll give you what they call a bunghole, or it's like a rubber stopper. It goes in, it has a hole. Put the bubbler on top, pitch your yeast, pop it in, put it somewhere. The other key is fermentation temperatures. Fermentation temperatures are going to be a little hard. If you have a chest freezer, you can buy an Inkbird. They're super cheap, $30, $40 based on what kind you buy. And you can take that chest freezer and control the temperature and regulate it based on the freezer. Some of them don't like it, and I've had to disconnect the wire on my Keyser. Other things you can do is you can go, hey, my average ambient room temperature is 72 degrees. What can I brew at 72 degrees? There's a lot of wheat beers, a lot of ales that you can brew at 72 degrees, or ferment, should I say, not brew. The other option, which I've done, is you can submerge and get crazy. You can submerge in a container if you have it with water, put some ice packs in there, or put a heater in there, or whatever you need to do. And I'm talking about heater from like a fish tank, and set it at certain temperatures. It gets a little crazy, but we all go to extremes to get what we want to do or get what we want before we spend a ton of money investing in actual equipment that can handle it or regulate it better. My fermentation chamber holds probably maybe 7 plus or minus 5-gallon jugs, or 6-gallon, carboys. I can easily put about 14, 15 1-gallons in there, but it's a big box, thick 1.5, almost 2-inch insulation, and a college dorm fridge with freezer, keeping everything nice and cool, and a little heater in the back that helps to keep it warm if I need to warm it up a little bit. And it works beautifully. But I spent some money and I spent a lot of time building that. Not something you need to do when you're first starting out brewing right off the bat. Save the money, figure out if it's a hobby you enjoy, figure out if it's something you like. When I brewed my first, it was a Hefeweizen. I stuck one in a pantry. It was probably about 72, 74 Fahrenheit. I stuck the other one in our bedroom closet, 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 1 gallon separated, so 2 gallons total. And the one that fermented a little cooler, tasted better, wasn't as banana smell, more clove, but I was hooked. You're talking 3 to 4 degrees of separation in temperatures in 2 totally different beers. And they were the same 100% before the fermentation. So if you brew your first beer, it doesn't come out that great. Don't worry. Most people's first one don't come out great, or it comes out okay. And that's fine. If you enjoy it, keep doing it. I do it because it helps with stress, it keeps my mind off other things, and it helps me relax. As I joke, I would probably brew more beer if I could get other people to drink all of it, which isn't hard, but it takes me time to bottle it. People don't come over to my house and hit the keg all the time, which would help, although my 24-year-old does. I would just brew beer all the time and just let everybody drink it and have a few and go on to my next mad scientist project. But that's me. So we're gonna let this sit. We're sitting at about 5 o'clock. I've probably been talking for 4 minutes. So we'll let this go. And at about 5:30, we'll rock and roll. Okay, we have chocolate goodness. Goodiness, however you want to say it. We're gonna heat up this water, gonna sparge, or what they call rinse water. The Bock. Before you go to dump the extract in, you want to put it in hot water for at least 5 minutes, I recommend. Maybe 10 minutes. 150, 160 Fahrenheit should do it, just to get it nice and soft inside. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with pure syrup. Just imagine really thick honey. Need smell-o-vision. But as you can see, we have a nice chocolate wort going, and we're gonna have to rinse that, or sparge as they say, to get all the chocolate goodness. Heat up some water. I don't recommend it being your spring water or distilled if you're doing brewing salts. Just heat it up. Take this, whatever you're using, extract, whatever beer you're brewing, and drop it in and let it get nice and warm. That's only sitting probably at about 100. So I'm gonna crank it up to about maybe 140 to 160. Get it nice and warm. Give it about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we'll take it out, we'll open it, and we'll pour in all the lovely Bock beer. And we'll go from there. Okay, we're sitting at about 170. All I'm gonna do is take this, nice little hop sock, and rinse off all that yummy malt goodness. Go really slow. I'm going a little fast, but it is what it is. And they say don't squeeze the bag. That's been debunked. Check out Brewlosophy. Some great work. Great work. Don't squeeze the bag if you don't want to burn your hand. Pull it tight. And we'll just let it sit and drip. We're all good. We're heating this up. Probably heated it up too much. Knowing my luck, I'll have the can explode. So we're gonna turn that off. Slide it back. What's sad is I gotta heat up my water because of that one. So let's get our corn sugar and our malt. To measure our malt, we don't need to worry about this being sterile because we're gonna add it to pretty much close to boiling and we're gonna boil it anyways. But we need a pound of this. I'm not sure if a pound will fit in a cup. Well, we'll find out. It is a 16-ounce cup. And this is how I am. I only need a half a pound. So we're doing a pound of this, which is a malt extract, very light, and 2 pounds of corn sugar. We'll do 2.5 pounds of corn sugar and half a pound of malt. It'll work. This is 6 ounces of chocolate malt. 6 ounces. And I probably have close to a little over half a gallon of water in here. You can see just how dark it is. And let's do this. Okay, it's got a hint of roast. I wasn't looking for the roast, but hopefully that'll go away. But yeah, that's pure chocolate with, sadly, a hint of roast. Okay, our malt extract is nice and hot. Warning to self and others. I put the whole thing in, I heated it up. Part of the label started to melt to the pan, so I had to clean that. So, I'm not gonna worry about star sanding this because we're gonna boil it. So, let's take this, let's dump it in here. Let's add the rest of our gallon of distilled. And we're gonna get more. Might as well, well, no, we'll hold off on that, but let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, first thing you're gonna get when you do this is you're gonna have all this malt on here. Just take it, put it in the hot water. Okay, here we go. Like black gold. You want to stir it up because you don't want it to scorch. Yeah, see? Gooey, gooey. Oh yeah, and we have brewing salts. Done. Easy way to get your yummy, yummy malt because you want all of it. Take a Pyrex, get it almost boiling. Pour a little bit in. Round and around we go. And you have to do that quite a few times. Well, not too many times, but want all that yummy goodness out of there. And this is part of our distilled water, or if you're not doing your brewing salts, you can definitely do spring water. I don't think it would be a huge difference, to be honest. this is getting hot. I may have to get a glove. And I'm spilling water everywhere. Thank God people don't put carpet in kitchens or bathrooms. Don't understand why people do that. Blows my mind. Oh yeah, see? Much better. Very little left. But I'm gonna get it all. I haven't mentioned, I'm a little OCD, so there are certain things that I could care less about, and there's things that nobody cares about that I care about. Just the way it is. And yes, I love this shirt. We just stick it in there, but I'd end up with more paper than anything. Tastes really good though. We'll throw that away. It's pretty good. You want to know what 2.5 pounds of corn sugar looks like? That's what 2.5 pounds of corn sugar, literally almost a whole half a pot. Enough to kill the boil. And we got some corn sugar in here, so we'll have to rinse it out with a little bit more water. And we want to put the malt extract in there. Did I mention you'll need a spoon? Ah, crap. Wouldn't be brewing if I didn't make a little bit of a mess. So currently we have 2 gallons, no, 1.5 gallons. Still water in here. And our ultimate goal, of course, will be 5 gallons. We don't want to go much over 5 gallons, but we definitely want to go over a little bit. And every time we do this, we're cooling it down. It just is what it is. Who cares? That's the part about brewing. Have fun. Not a big deal. You'll get through it. And when it's all done, you can enjoy it. Okay, so there's 2 gallons. Okay, if you spill wort in your house, clean it up sooner than later, because it is like pure sugar, and it will dry, harden like shellac, and be a real pain in the neck to clean, just in general. I'm not sure why I have a razor blade there, but that's all okay. There we go. We have boiling wort. Or will be boiling shortly. We got about 6 minutes left on this. Mild boil. I turned it down a little bit too low, I think, but it's okay. We'll let it go for a little longer. I'm pouring distilled water in here. That's room temp, which should be somewhere around 70, 73 degrees. And then what I'll do is I'll move this over here, or about half of it, and then put half over here, because these aren't going to hold 5 1/4 or 5 and whatever gallons I'm putting in here. I just want to get it just a hair under 5 1/4. That way I allowed for the trub. So I end up with 5 gallons of actual beer. So I'm going to put probably about half over here, leave half over here, and add more cool water over here. It's really all you can do is basically compromise or change the way you do things when all you have is a pot or two. This pot I bought, I don't remember where, but it's a good pot. I bought this pot with a bunch of other ones, which I'm sorry, but are crappy pots at Harbor Freight, because the bottom piece is up a little bit and it's got a lip, so it doesn't get direct heat on it. It's all ambient heat. The burners just don't touch it physically. So that's why I'm using this as my cooler and that is my hot. And between both of them, I should have a hair over 5 gallons, which is just what we're going for. We'll put it in the fermenter, we'll add the yeast, we'll kick it up, and we'll be good. And then we'll try it out and see how it tastes. So we've been kicking about 30 minutes here. I'm gonna dump some in here. Step it off the burner. Don't go over these little notches where your handles are put in. Some of them leak, which sucks, but it just is what it is. Try not to splash, or you might splash hot boiling wort on your hand. You need a microcilla for these, but hey, just trying to do it the way you would do it at your own house. Remember too, you can always take it and put it in the tub with ice, or if your sink is big enough, you can set it in your sink. When I did 1 gallons, my sink is definitely plenty big. So I'd fill it with ice water, put the 1 gallon in there and let it cool down. It worked really well. Actually just about 122 and 121, or well, 122, 124. Not too bad. So I'm gonna see if I can cool it in the sink. Okay, literally all I'm doing is adding ice and cold water and agitating the wort and checking the temp. And it's slowly going down. As you can see, a little craft beer and a little other. Little Tourette's, there's your Raging Bitch by Flying Dog. Great beer. Okay, we'll leave that alone for a minute. You can also use ice packs. And that'll cool things down. Yeah, we're already at close to a little over 90 degrees. Here we go. Let's move the Bock into the carboy. This will help oxygenate everything. It'll all shake up. Lots of foam in there. Retain the aeration. And there's about 2.5 gallons. So let's get the next 2.5. A tiny bit of scorching at the very bottom. 5 gallons is heavy. Good thing, the more you pour, the lighter it gets. Okay, we're gonna have to hold. We're foaming over. If that happens, just kind of hold for a minute. Let the air bubbles break down a little, pour a little more in. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a ton of foam. I hate dealing with that, but it is what it is. Sorry, I had to spray the chair down with Star Signal. So, we didn't boil off as much water as I would like. So we're sitting a little over 5¼ gallons, I guess, with the can, and almost 1/4 gallon of water. So I've decided I'm going to use Mangrove Jack's lager yeast because it runs at a higher temp without issue. So we can just sprinkle it right in. I don't know what I'm doing here. Getting late, I'm getting tired. It's the way that works. And that's it. We'll cap it, put it in the fermenter, and we're all good. Have a great evening.